Wagons are back, and I'm not talking about your grandfather's Country Squire with the fake wood paneling peeling off the doors. I'm talking about cars that will humiliate a Corvette at a stoplight, haul your camping gear on Saturday, and still have enough room to pick up your grandkids on Sunday. The automotive world spent 30 years telling us that SUVs were the answer to everything, and somewhere along the way, the wagon just quietly got better, faster, more capable, more honest. And today we're counting down the 5 best ones on the planet right now. Some of these you can walk into a dealership and buy today. Some of them you'll have to move to Germany to get your hands on. All 5 of them are worth every minute of your time. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know we don't pad these lists with filler, and we don't hype up cars that don't deserve it. So if you're new here, hit subscribe right now because this is exactly the kind of content we make. Let's get into it. Number 5. 2025 Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered. Let's start with the one that surprises people the most, because when most folks hear Volvo, they think of sensible, safe, maybe a little boring, and that's exactly what Polestar was counting on when they got their hands on the V60. The Volvo V60 Polestar Engineered is what happens when a motorsport division is handed a family wagon and told to see how far they can push it without breaking the basic promise of what a wagon is supposed to be. The answer, it turns out, is pretty far. Under the hood, you've got a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that is both turbocharged and supercharged simultaneously. That combination alone is unusual. Most manufacturers pick one or the other. Volvo and Polestar stacked both. Then they added 2 rear-mounted electric motors and a 14.9 kilowatt-hour battery to the equation. When everything fires together, you're looking at 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque going through an 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. Put it in power mode, and this wagon covers 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Now, 4.3 seconds might not sound jaw-dropping after a while on this list, but here's the thing about the V60 Polestar that the raw numbers don't fully capture. It's the way it handles that makes this car special. Out front, there are gold-painted Brembo 4-piston calipers clamping onto 14.6-inch 2-piece rotors. Those are the first thing people notice when the car pulls up next to them at a light, and they should. This car stops from 60 miles per hour in 110 feet, which in independent testing put it right alongside dedicated sports cars that cost significantly more. On the skid pad, it pulled 0.97 grams of lateral grip. That's a number that embarrasses most SUVs. The interior is clean Scandinavian design, which means it doesn't shout at you. A 9-inch touchscreen runs Volvo's straightforward interface. Bowers & Wilkins premium audio fills the cabin without trying too hard. And because the electric motors are part of the powertrain, you get 41 miles of electric-only range for your daily commute. Most days around town, this thing runs completely silent. Starting MESRIP on the V60 Polestar Engineered is $71,250. For a car with Öhlins dampers, Brembo brakes, and a hybrid powertrain that was developed alongside motorsport engineers, that price is genuinely honest. You're getting a lot of serious engineering for the money. It's a wagon that respects you enough to let you feel what it's doing, and in a world where most modern cars are trying to insulate you from everything, that's worth something. Number 4. 2026 Mercedes-Benz E450 4MATIC All-Terrain. If the Volvo is the driver's choice on this list, the Mercedes E450 All-Terrain is the car for the person who wants a wagon that does absolutely everything without making any compromises. Mercedes has been making the E-Class in wagon form for decades, and they understand better than almost anyone that a wagon needs to be genuinely comfortable before it earns the right to be fast. The E450 All-Terrain gets that balance right. Power comes from a 3-liter turbocharged inline-6, backed by a 48-volt mild hybrid system. Combined output sits at 375 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque, with brief overboost spikes that push the system closer to 398 horsepower when you really bury the throttle. That power runs through a 9-speed automatic and Mercedes 4MATIC all-wheel drive. The result is a wagon that weighs nearly 4,600 pounds, launching to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds. That's quick in any class, and in a wagon built for long hauls and loaded cargo, it's genuinely impressive. But the engineering story here is really about the suspension. Mercedes fitted the E450 all-terrain with standard Airmatic air suspension using air springs at all four corners. The system reads road conditions continuously and adjusts ride height and damping automatically. On the highway, it sits low and stable. Dial into off-road mode and the body rises for extra ground clearance over rough terrain. Inside, you're looking at a 14.4-inch central touchscreen running the latest MBUX system with an optional 12.3-inch passenger display for the person riding shotgun. Napa leather, 64-color ambient lighting, and available Burmester audio. Long trips in this car are not something you endure. They're something you look forward to. Starting Mester up is $78,300. That positions it between the Volvo and the more aggressive options higher on this list, and it earns that price by being the most well-rounded wagon here. If you need one car to do everything from long highway miles to weekend adventures to looking absolutely correct in a restaurant parking lot, the E450 all-terrain is a serious answer. Number 3. 2026 Audi RS6 Avant Performance. All right, now we're in different territory. The first two cars on this list were impressive. They were fast, capable, and smart about what they were doing. The Audi RS6 Avant Performance is not interested in being smart about it. This car is ridiculous. Beautifully, expensively, magnificently ridiculous. Audi took the RS6 Avant, which was already considered one of the fastest practical cars ever built, and then decided it wasn't enough. The performance version gets a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 pushing 621 horsepower and 627 pound-feet of torque through a retuned 8-speed automatic with quicker shift calibration feeding quattro all-wheel drive with a smaller, faster-acting center differential. 0 to 60 disappears in 3.2 seconds. With the optional carbon ceramic brakes unlocked, the top speed climbs to 190 miles per hour in a station wagon. And here's the detail that I think really tells you what kind of car this is. Audi stripped over 17 pounds of sound deadening from the cabin. Most automakers add sound deadening. They work hard to keep the engine noise out. Audi went the other direction. They wanted you to hear that V8. They wanted the engine to announce itself. Because when you're spending $131,995 on a station wagon, you deserve to know what's under the hood every time you touch the throttle. Spec the optional forged 22-inch wheels, and you cut roughly 11 pounds of unsprung mass per corner. That might sound like a small number, but unsprung mass is one of the most meaningful things you can reduce on a performance car. Every input gets sharper. The steering feels more connected. The body responds faster. Inside, the RS virtual cockpit with switchable white or black gauge faces shows boost pressure, oil temperature, and lap data. Bang & Olufsen 19-speaker 3D audio, Valona leather sports seats. This is a first-class cockpit that happens to be bolted to a wagon body. The RS6 Avant Performance at $131,995 is not a car you justify on a spreadsheet. It's a car you justify with the understanding that nothing else in your driveway is going to do what this does. Nothing. Number 2. 2026 BMW M5 Touring G99. 40 years. That's how long BMW built the M5 sedan and refused to sell the wagon version in America. 40 years of European buyers getting one of the greatest performance estates ever made, while American customers got nothing but catalog photos and magazine reviews that rubbed salt in the wound. That changed with the G99, and BMW did not arrive quietly. The M5 Touring packs a twin-turbocharged 4.4-liter V8 that produces 577 horsepower on its own. Then there's an electric motor integrated into the 8-speed automatic that stacks another 194 horsepower on top of that. Combined output is 717 horsepower, and the electric motor's job has nothing to do with saving fuel. It exists to eliminate turbo lag and multiply torque off the line in a way that pure combustion engines simply cannot match. The MX drive system claws all four tires into the pavement, and car and driver independently recorded 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. This wagon weighs over 5,500 pounds. Let that settle for a moment. A wagon that weighs 2.5 tons is covering 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. That number is not a typo, that is physics losing an argument. Inside, a 14.9-inch curved display and a 12.3-inch M cluster deliver boost data, battery information, and lap timing. Merino leather, Bowers & Wilkins 18-speaker audio, and 25 miles of silent electric range for city driving. This car lives two completely separate lives depending on which mode you put it in, and it does both of them extremely well. Starting MSRP is $123,900. Given what BMW packed into it, given the fact that America waited 40 years for this car, and given that it genuinely has no direct competition at this price point, that number looks reasonable, which is a sentence I did not expect to write about a $124,000 station wagon. Number 1. 2026 Porsche Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo. Everything you just heard, all 5 of those cars, the Volvo with its Öhlins dampers, the Mercedes with its air suspension and overboost, the Audi V8 doing 190 miles per hour, the BMW that America waited 4 decades for, all of it leads here. The Porsche Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo plays by a completely different set of rules. No cylinders, no exhaust note, no combustion engine at all. This is a fully electric wagon riding on Porsche's 800-volt architecture, which is one of the most advanced electrical systems ever fitted to a production car. Dual motors, a 2-speed rear gearbox, and 938 horsepower combined. Trigger the launch control, and 818 pound-feet of torque arrives with zero negotiation. No gear hunting, no turbo spooling, no waiting. The power is simply there, all of it, immediately. And the result is 0 to 60 in 2.2 seconds. Not 2.2 for an electric car, not 2.2 for a wagon, just 2.2, faster than every V8, every twin-turbo, every hybrid powertrain on this entire list. Inside, a curved 16.8-inch driver display and a 10.9-inch center screen deliver speed, energy flow, and lap telemetry. Adaptive 18-way sports seats. Porsche electric sports sound, which gives the cabin an engineered acoustic signature because Porsche understands that silence isn't always what a driver wants. And depending on how you drive it, you're looking at up to 261 miles of range. Starting MSRP is $224,300. That is a significant amount of money for any car, let alone a wagon. But the Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo is not competing with the other 4 cars on this list. It's competing with Porsche's own 911 lineup and whatever the hypercar market considers fast this week. There is nothing else like it. So that's the list. 5 wagons that cover everything from a $71,000 Swedish daily driver to a $224,000 electric rocket with a rear hatch. What I want to know from you is this. If somebody handed you the keys to any one of these cars tomorrow morning and said it's yours to keep, which one are you pulling out of the garage? Is it the Porsche, because nothing touches those numbers? The BMW because 40 years of waiting made it feel earned, or maybe the Volvo because you'd actually enjoy driving it every single day? Drop your pick in the comments. I read every one of them. If you got value out of this video, subscribe. We do this every day, and the next one is already in the works.